everyone, I'm Dr. Z. I'm a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you, all of you adults, because I work only with adults, all of you adults who at any kind of adulthood period, whether you are age 18 and up, whether you are young adult, whether you are older adult, whether you are older adult, I want to talk to you why you feel tremendous amount of guilt in relationship to your immediate family. So we're talking about relationship to immediate family. We're talking about your parents. We're talking about your siblings. Or we're talking about any extended family you may have. Why you feel tremendous amount of guilt about your family in a sense of, here's the thing, in a sense of being yourself and having family who is not supportive, families that is not being accepting. Maybe your family is even downright what I would call abusive, where they actually tell you that they're going to disown you, or they have disowned you, or families that is telling you you cannot come to Christmas, you cannot come to Thanksgiving, you cannot come to all those other large, wonderful holidays if you are going to be presenting as who you are. Families that are setting I wouldn't even call them boundaries. They're setting ultimatums, drastic ultimatums, because suddenly they don't accept you as one of their kin because you identify as transgender. And as a result of family being so rigid, like I said, borderline what I would actually call abusive, you have to make a decision also for your own health, for your also well-being, to move away and to set your own boundaries. Or maybe you don't make the decision. Maybe the decision has been made for you by your family that is acting like that, by your family that is being abusive, by your family that is being toxic, by your family that being unaccepting, not supportive. And as a result, you are being cut out. It's not that even you made the decision, but they made the decision for you. And you feel a lot of guilt. You feel a lot of guilt about it. You feel really bad about it. You're being torn apart. I see this all of the time with people being torn apart, with guilt, feeling really bad, missing their families, of course, understandably so. And I want to talk about that part in transition process, that element in transition that happens for so many. And that is just the reality of things. Now, if you're a family member and you're watching this and you are going to call me out and say that that's not fair, calling us out being transphobic, and maybe you're not transphobic, calling us out being toxic or abusive, it's my brother, my sister who are abusive because they decided to make a choice to be transgender, let me stop you. Save yourself whining. Today, there's no excuse for not understanding the medical aspects of gender dysphoria. With the internet being at our fingertips and so much research proven and demonstrating factually that gender dysphoria in adults is a medical condition needing treatment in the form of transition for a lot of adults. Save yourself. There's no excuse for family members today not understanding and continue to claim this as a choice, continue to claim that you as adults choose to destroy, I don't know any other word, to destroy the life you have built, to start from scratch, to potentially a lot of you give up your careers, give up your relationships, because what, you have a choice, you have some kind of temper tantrum to be of other gender. If family members cannot fathom that this is not a choice, yeah, that's another video. But what I want to say for all of you is, even though you know it's not a choice and you understand it, and you know the symptoms and the pain of gender dysphoria, you still feel a lot of guilt when your family moves away, when family disowns you, when family sets the ultimatums. Like I say, they're not boundaries, they're ultimatums. So here's the thing, guys. I don't even know when this whole concept of families And this whole human concept and myth got started and got really strongly perpetuated that family is thicker than blood, family is all you have, your kin is the closest thing to you, and you're supposed to do you're supposed to do anything and everything to maintain proximity to your family. And maybe that myth is true. If the family is truly a family, if family truly sticks by its own and not abandons its own. I have never seen so much family abandonment as I have seen in people who are transitioning. I have seen so many families turn their backs on their children, so many parents turn their backs on their adult children, so many siblings turn their backs on their adult siblings. All because of gender dysphoria. I have seen strangers turn and embrace you, and your families turn around and disown you. So this means family gotta stick together. Families, there's nothing thicker than familial blood. It's a beautiful myth if true concept of family actually exists. And some people, some of you have that beautiful concept of family. And you're so blessed. I have that concept of family and I'm so fucking blessed. I wish all of you would have that concept of family. The reality is that for a lot of other people, that is not concept of their family. Forget about coming out as transgender. Families can and often are very abusive. There's parents who sexually abuse their children, their own children. There are parents who are physically abusing their children. There's parents who are emotionally and psychologically abusing and neglecting their children. And there's siblings who do all of that the same. And we're supposed to live in this myth of sticking to our family, even though they're toxic, even though they're destroying us, even though they're killing us, even though they're taking advantage of us, even though they're abusive. We're supposed to stick around with that myth. Well, I call that myth bullshit. It's not true. You're not supposed to stick around. It's human myth built on a beautiful concept that's just not realistic because most humans, well, maybe most is a stretch, but a lot of humans are not nice human beings. A lot of parents are not nice parents. There's a lot of abuse happening in the families. A lot of you watching have sustained that abuse. I don't need to be telling you, I don't need to be preaching to choir. And sometimes we can't just understand why people can be abusive. And sometimes not everybody has capacity to forgive. And sometimes forgiveness is not warranted depending on the type and the form of family abuse, family toxicity. But because we have the societal myth of perpetuation that you gotta stick with your family no matter what they do to you. In fact, this myth is perpetuated in literature, it's perpetuated in media, and it's sure as hell perpetuated on film. You just have to roll over any kind of classic family movie showcasing dysfunctional family, something is happening, and what the parents tell them? You gotta stick together. You brothers gotta stick together no matter what happens. So what if your brother abused your brother's wife? Go ahead and stick together, nothing like family. There's films that perpetuate the myth that no matter what happens in a family, we gotta stick together because we're family. Again, sadly not true. But because this myth is so deeply perpetuated and so deeply woven in the fabric of our lives, we feel guilt. It's kind of this myth is interjected inside of ourselves. That myth becomes, for a lot of us, how we see family and conceptualize family. So when your family sets an ultimatum, they push you away because of who you are. And it kills me. You're not criminals. You haven't committed crime. You're not, I don't even want to name what type of criminals. You're not a horrible person. You're just, as an adult, taking care of your health, taking care of your mental and physical health. And your family shuns you. Why? Because they don't understand, because they think it's a choice, because they're embarrassed, because you didn't live up to their crazy expectations. And it's this type of a form of thing, this juxtaposition between family saying you're being selfish, you're making a choice, how can you do this to us? It's always like this to us. And juxtaposition between you being torn between your health and something that is so clear not a choice. And the whole misconcept of family thicker than blood, you feel guilt. This is where the guilt comes from. The guilt is coming from that feeling that, but I've been taught, verbally and non-verbally, through even watching films and reading books, that family should stick together. That I'm supposed to stick together with my family no matter what. That I'm supposed to not be selfish, in this case, that I'm supposed to give up my identity so that they can love me and embrace me and they can continue to invite me to Christmas and to Thanksgiving and to Easter and to birthday parties and to celebrations. That doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Their comfort level is not even happiness. Their comfort level about however they feel about transgender people should not come at expense of your health. Let me say that again. Their comfort level of how they feel about transgender and their ignorance, I can't call it any other thing but ignorance, should not come at expense of your health. Your guilt should not be in place. And I know it is in place, and I know you feel that guilt, and I know you have to deal with that guilt, but recognize that that guilt comes from idiotic notion we've all been taught to stick around with our families. No. Sometimes we have to make a choice to get rid of our family. We have to make a choice to set boundary. We have to actually physically move away from our family. We have to change our phone numbers. And we have to start growing roots to create a new family for ourselves and to redefine it. In fact, a lot of times our partners and our friends are much more of a family to us than our family will ever be. And that is a sad truth. And that's a freaking sad reality. But I don't want you to be afraid of that reality. I want you to realize we can create a new mismaking. A new mismaking is that, yes, families should stick together when they have each other's back. Families should stick together when they see that another is hurting. They should outreach and help that other one that is in need. That's a beautiful myth. And it doesn't matter whether your family is bound by DNA, blood, or if your family is bound by commitment to stick together. You have a right to create your own family. So recognize that this guilt is arising from the societal myth, this BS, this concept of nuclear family, We're all going to be good to each other, and then at night, we're all going to engage in horrific acts of abuse. In the morning, guess what? We'll hold hands. Doesn't work like that. And you have a right to acknowledge that it doesn't work like that. It's hard. It's really, like I said, it's really, really hard when you don't have a family that is truly a family. It's very, very hard. It's very painful. I don't even know if it's hard when you don't have a family and you never known such family. Or I don't even know if what's harder is to realize that you never had that family to begin with, that what you had was a mirage, that your family said they love you no matter what, they'll be with you no matter what, and here you are as adults, you're living your life. You're not asking them for money, you're not asking them to pay for your transition, you're not asking to move in with them while you're transitioning. You're just saying, hey, this is happening to me, this is important. I just realized I have gender dysphoria. I'm going through gender transition, and because I'm going to be changing, and because it is going to be part of my life, and I'm finally addressing the distress I've been feeling for so long, I'm letting you know, I'm informing you, I'm not asking you for permission. Mom and dad, my siblings, I'm informing you as an adult that I'm making this decision. And the decision is arising out of a need to take care of my health. You're just informing them. And if your family can't say, okay, maybe your family will say, I don't really understand it. I've seen parents who say, you know what, I don't really get it. They grew up in a different generation. I don't get it. But I love you. You'll always be my kid. It'll make it hard for me to adjust to your pronouns in your name. And I may never get it, but I'm still here for you. That's different. That's family. That's family that sticks together, that can express that this is hard. I don't get it. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just, no matter how much I read about it, I just don't get it. But I see it making you happy. I see that you're starting to feel better. I see that you're starting to shine. So something must be right. That's family. Don't be afraid to set the boundaries. A lot of times it will be your family that sets the boundary for you, and it's not a boundary, it's an ultimatum. It's basically cut and dry, this way or highway. So don't be afraid to go on and build your own family. And please do not carry this guilt. The guilt you're carrying is a notion of utopian concept of the family that just doesn't exist for a lot of us. For a lot of people it exists, and that's beautiful. And for a lot of people, sadly, it's not in the cards. We all got cards dealt in this life. Everybody playing this whole life as a poker game. I have my cards, and in my cards it was age 16, fucking cancer. Age 18, your father gonna suddenly die in a tragic car accident. And before all of that happens, you're gonna have to leave your country. And at age 13, you're going to immigrate and leave everything behind, and you're going to migrate to a completely different country. My cards. Yeah, okay. Shit. How do I play poker with such cards? I'm not saying my cards are better or worse than yours. I just want you to recognize we all have cards. For some of us, our cards are, our family is great, but something else is happening here. Some people in their cards is loss of a child. Some people in their cards, a lot of you watching, you know what's in your cards, gender dysphoria. Yeah. And along with gender dysphoria, one of your cards is abusive, toxic family. Some of you who are watching this, you happen to have a family that is great. Lucky cards. Call it luck. I don't know what to call it. Draw of cards, random assignment, fate, destiny. But this is it, guys. We have cards. How you're gonna play them is going to matter. So don't play from a place of guilt. Play from a place of perseverance, adaptation, strengths. Realize that you can and will have family. So many people do, if you just allow yourself. And do not hope that you're suddenly going to change your family's minds. If your family is so cut and dry about you being who you are and you doing what you need to do as adults, I'm telling you, they're not going to change their mind. And if they will, it's probably going to come with some restrictions. So save yourself. You don't need to prove anything to them. If they can see how much better you're doing, so be it. Save yourself that energy and use that energy to cultivate a new family. That's what I really wish for you. So comment, let me know what happened to your family. What kind of cards you got dealt with. Are your cards containing good family? Are your cards containing a bad family? Or toxic family, whatever you want to call it. How did you play your cards when your cards contained a bad family? What helped you not to harbor and carry guilt? Because again, this guilt is coming from this myth, and the myth is not real. The myth is not real. I wish it was, but it's not. So comment below, let me know, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.